Welcome back to Tom. This whole week we're doing comfort food, but a new generation. We're adding more flavor, more texture, and more comfort. So last week my friend Antonia got in touch. Her son Alfie wanted a chocolate challah. And though I told her just add chocolate chips to your regular challah dough, afterwards I couldn't stop thinking about it. I really wanted Alfie to have a proper chocolate challah. So we've taken a recipe from Bon Appétit and we've adapted it. And this is what we made. Can you see that? Choclate challah, Alfie's chocolate challah. It's a cross between a challah and a babka. It's all over delicious. It's comfort food. So stick around while I walk you through the steps to making Alfie's chocolate challah. All right, let's get on with making Alfie's chocolate challah. Oh my goodness, I really hope Alfie has the best reaction to this. So what I have in my tiny little pot is 1 cup of soy milk, which I've heated up just so it's not like cold from the fridge. And I'm gonna add that straight into my mixing bowl. So generally, I don't make challah in a mixer. It's just way too much flour. But because I'm making a smaller amount, I'm doing it in my mixing bowl. You can totally do this by hand. The average KitchenAid will hold up to 1 kilo of flour plus the other ingredients. So I know I'm using less than 1 kilo of flour. I'm good to go. Into my heated up soy milk, I'm adding my yeast. And I'm sure we're gonna get the question, can we use other milk alternatives? Can we use milk? For sure. Use milk, use a different milk alternative. The reason I'm using soy milk in this is because I want something a little bit richer than almond milk, but you know, you can play around with it. So I'm gonna just give it a little bit of a whirl to make sure that the yeast gets combined with the milk. A little bit more. I can see there are big lumps of yeast there. It's a good thing. Oops. I've got a spatula ready and I just made a mess because, you know, it's my kitchen. There's going to be a mess and a big one at that. I'll talk you guys through it in a minute. All right, so my yeast is doing its thing. Let's look at the rest of our ingredients. What I have here is 8, oh my God, count them, 8 egg yolks. And what's spilt just behind me were the 8 egg whites. What I was going to show you is that egg whites freeze brilliantly, and I was going to make an angel food cake with my egg whites. Now I'm going to clean them off my counter. So no egg whites. So into my foamy yeast are going to go my 8 egg yolks, sugar, because it is chocolate challah, so it needs to be a little sweet. We've got some homemade vanilla. And the last really important ingredient before the flour and the salt is this. You can't see what it is. It is coconut oil, which I've melted. So here's my coconut oil with a good deal of egg white at the bottom. Check that out. It is Groovy Food Organic Extra Virgin Coconut Oil. They don't pay me for this, but it's delicious, and basically it comes in a solid state and you melt it before you use it. Again, can you use butter? Sure, you can use butter. Melt it. Make sure it's at room temperature before you add it in. The reason I'm using coconut oil and not regular oil is, again, because I want this real richness in our dough. So my yeast is foamy. Let me show you. Check that out. There are bubbles and foam going on, so we're good to go. And into them are going to go the rest of my ingredients, including my sugar, my 8 egg yolks. No angel food cake in this house because I don't know that I want to go through another 8 egg yolks. They'll be fine without it. All right, so my 8 egg yolks are going in there. And then we've got our 1 cup, 240 ml of coconut oil. I've got 2 teaspoons of salt, super important. I'm going to add to my dough, we need new teaspoons here, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. In fact, this is a tablespoon, 3 teaspoons make 1 tablespoon. So I'm just gonna average it out there. And that goes in. And our last, but definitely not least ingredient is our 750 grams, which is 6 cups of plain flour. We're not using bread flour, again, because we're going for this really cakey crumb in our challah. So I'm gonna set it up, I'm gonna let it go for the next 5 to 10 minutes until a dough starts coming together. Right, my dough has been going now for about 7 minutes. My counter's all clean, and it is time to get this out of the machine. Give it a couple of kneads by hand, just so I can make sure that it's as smooth and gorgeous as I want it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this. A chocolate challah, what could be better? It's not exactly a babka. We really are going for a cross between a challah and a babka. And a lot of times, especially when I started baking years and years ago, and babka recipes weren't super prevalent, people would say, just use your challah dough to make a babka. And I tried it quite a few times, and it's just not as nice. A challah dough is not quite as sweet. It's not quite as tender. But a babka can be very gooey and very cake-like. And Alfie definitely specified that he wants a chocolate challah, not a babka. So a chocolate challah is what Alfie's gonna get. And there we go. Our dough, let me show you. It is smooth and beautiful and perfect. But because of the amount of eggs in this, and the amount of coconut oil, it's going to take a really long time to rise. So about 2 to 2.5 hours until this doubles in size. So I'm putting it in a well-oiled bowl. I'm gonna cover it and see you again in 2.5 hours. But in the meantime, I'm gonna prepare the filling, drink a coffee. While our chocolate challah dough rises, it's time to make the filling. And because this isn't a babka, there's a lot less chocolate in it. There's still a good amount of chocolate. I've got 350 grams, it's like 12 ounces of chocolate. And I want it really finely chopped. I can do this by hand, I can do this with a knife, or I could do it in the food processor, which just goes far faster, and also not quite as much chocolate melts along the way. But it does make a heck of a rattle. Like, it is super loud. Another thing I have going on here, this is the scale, my very, very basic looking but incredible scale. I bought it years and years ago when I was training to be a pastry chef, and you know, it's even got my name tag on the back, and it just died. So I had to get out my analog scale. Check this guy out. You know, you weigh it down, but you know, a good reason to hoard, I suppose. So analog scale went into work this morning along with my chocolate. I'm adding 135 grams. It's 2/3 of a cup of light brown sugar is going in the food processor. And my secret ingredient to make this go like over the top is a full tablespoon of cinnamon. In Israel, there are places that will grind the cinnamon for you on the spot. I haven't found such a place in England. If anyone knows of one, please let me know, because I love cinnamon. Just opening up the pack makes me happy. So imagine how much happier I could be if they were grinding it in front of me. All right, so time to whiz this up. I'm gonna turn off the camera because it's insanely loud, but I'll be right back. All right, so we got over the first initial loudness, and the chocolate is already starting to pulverize, and all you wanna do is pulse it. If you do it on auto, you're going to get a whole new block of chocolate. So we're just gonna pulse until all the little chocolate squares are actually chocolate powder. All right, our chocolate is pulverized. Check that out. Our filling is done. I'm a little bit OCD, just a tad. And what is gonna happen is this chocolate is going to be spread on into our rolls of challah. We're gonna have 6 rolls to make 2 challahs. So I'm actually gonna divide it into 6 and I'm gonna weigh it out. You don't have to do this, but I really wanna make sure that every single roll gets the same amount of chocolate in it. So off to the weighing with my humongous analog scale. Coconut oil melted, give it a good brush so that the chocolate adheres. And I did separate my chocolate into 6 bowls because I'm gonna make 6 of these rolls so that we get 2 chocolate challahs out of it. And each one of the bowls has just under 100 grams, just under half a cup of chocolate mix. And I can smell the cinnamon. It's incredible. It's floral and spicy, but what it's gonna do is really amplify the taste of the chocolate. It's got this real Jewish Yiddishy appeal, the cinnamon and chocolate mixture. Oh my gosh. All right, so our entire surface is covered. And let's roll it up. And this is such an easy dough to work with. Yeah, it does take a little bit of time to wait while it rests, but it's time to get on with other things in the meantime. So there is my roll. I'm going to set it aside and I'm going to do this another 2 times, and we're gonna get 3 rolls and we're gonna be ready to braid, just a simple 3 braid. All right, let's roll another piece of dough. I've got my piece that's rested beautifully and we're gonna roll it out into a rectangle. I can give you precise measurements, but I do this by eye. I find it's the best way so that even though I measured out my chocolate, for some reason I don't wanna get neurotic about the size of the roll itself. So I have the other rolls right here next to me so I can gauge how long I want this one to be so it matches its other rolls. And this dough is so super easy to work with. Once it's had all that time to rise, it just is very compliant. We like that. All right, we're gonna brush the top of our dough with melted coconut oil. It doesn't take very much, and this is going to be so delicious. Yes, I am making 2, so 1 for Alfie, 1 for us. It's got to be said. We're gonna have some as well. And my chocolate, I actually am really glad that I divided it ahead of time so I don't have to guess and get like that anxiety. Is there gonna be enough chocolate left for the last roll? So even though it's a little bit OCD, I do recommend you do the measuring out. And let's roll up our roll, and then we are gonna be ready to braid. And it's a really simple braid, plait, just the usual 3. We're not gonna get complicated. The filling is, it's still a bit dry, and if we do a complicated braid, the filling may fall out. So in braiding, I want to ensure that the seam of each one of these rolls is at the bottom. The weight of the roll will keep it from opening up. We're gonna pinch, I'll show you, pinch the top together and then simply braid. To braid, you just bring the outside rope into the center, and then you do the opposite side, outside rope into the center. And we're just gonna keep on doing that, ensuring as we go that the seams stay facing downwards. Once more, outside into the center, outside into the center. And we just keep on going. And isn't that already looking like a challah? How great is that? So I'm gonna transfer this to my prepared pan, which I've lined with baking paper. And then I'm gonna let it rise for at least 35 to 40 minutes, just tucking in the ends so they look nice and neat. 35 to 45 minutes until it looks like it's doubled in size and it's a little poofy, and then into the oven it goes. But there we go, first braid. We're gonna do the second one. Check it out, it's there, and then we're gonna let it rise. Our challahs, our chocolate challahs have risen. They are nice and puffy. It's been a really long time. They're super rich, so it takes ages for them to rise. I'm gonna brush them with some egg wash. It's just an egg and a tablespoon of water mixed together. Sprinkle them with sugar and stick them in the oven for between 35 and 45 minutes until the bottom of the chocolate challah sounds hollow. Oh my goodness, I know, it's like such a long project, but totally, totally worth it. So our challah's been in the oven now for 45 minutes. It's time to come out. Let me show you the deliciousness of this challah. Oh my goodness, check that out. Oh my God, oh sorry, it's boiling. Whoa, so that is our chocolate challah. I hope you get a chance to make something delicious for whoever you have at home with you or just for yourself. Wishing you a beautiful Shabbat, a restful Shabbat, a Shabbat filled with amazing comfort food, and hope to see you all soon. Shabbat Shalom, bye.